To walk you through your independent work for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the Star Wars video and it helped you with your work. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get through this. So Pemdas is going to be your best friend when you are working in order of operations. And it goes parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. The big thing is here that when multiplication and division are in the same sentence, you have to work left to right when found in the same number sentence. And the same thing goes with adding and subtracting. So that kind of gets kids, caught up and tricks them a bit. So you've really got to pay attention to that when you are working. So this very first one, we kind of started out kind of basic, a little warm-up problem. 100 plus 10 times 3, take away 5 to the second power. So if you go through the checklist of PEMDAS, there is no parentheses, so we don't have to worry about that. So then we go to exponents, which we do have an exponent, and that is right here with 5 to the second power. I'm going to change my color, and we're going to work with green. So, when we're kind of starting to work with this, we start with the exponent, which is 5 squared. So we start right here, which that is 25. Now, with that then, we then have to bring everything else down that we did not do, which is going to be 100 plus 10 times 3. Now, forgive me for my spacing. I'm using, black as my background, and it makes things a little difficult because I can't really see my icon, so forgive me. We are then going to go through our process. We've solved through exponents, now we go to multiply, divide. We do have multiplication, and we have that here with 10 times 3. So I'm going to group that together, and I'm going to get 30. I then am going to bring down everything that I did not use, which is going to be 100. And I hope you're much neater when you work than I am with my crookedness. 100 plus 30, take away 25. So we've worked through everything so far. We had multiply, divide. Now we're just down to our last two operations, which is addition and subtraction. Now when you have addition and subtraction in the same sentence, you have to work left to right. So that very first problem that I'm going to do is going to be 100 take away 30. So I do that, 100 plus 30, which I'm going to get 130. And I am going to do 130 take away 25 as my last problem. And my final answer then would be 105. That's my final answer on this very first problem. So you got to be careful with these because one little mistake or you forget that you're doing subtraction instead you change it to addition, it could throw you off. So I hope you're just careful with that. So 105 for the very first one. Next problem. And we're going to move this over here. So if I'm doing my very next problem, I go to 20 plus 5 times 4 in parentheses, take away 5 times 2. So my very first problem that I'm going to do is I am starting within my parentheses here. But the rules apply of, within those parentheses, do I have parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, add, or subtract? So if we look at that, we have 20 plus 5 times 4. So based off PEMDAS, we have multiplication, which comes before addition. So I'm going to do 5 times 4 first, which is going to be 20. Everything that I do not use, I'm going to bring down. And like I said in my video, I know kids try to take the shortcut of doing this in their head. That is a terrible idea. Write this stuff out, and yeah, it's going to take up some space. You're going to have a lot of work. Whoa, way over there. Man, I am struggling right now. Let me clean that up a bit. I'm really struggling right now to operate with this black background, so my apologies. Take away 5 squared. So I have not solved everything within my parentheses, so I'm going to stay there, which I have 20 plus 20, and that's just 40. And because I solved everything within my parentheses, I can drop those off. So now I have 40, and I'm way over. Take away 5 squared. So now I work with, I go through, I've already solved all my parentheses. Now I'm on this exponent, which is 5 to the second power. So 5 to the second power, that means 5 times 5, which is going to be 25. So I am now going to bring 40 down. So I now have 40, take away 25. I am not going to do that in my head. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to write that out next to Darth Vader. 40 take away 25, which that is going to be, I'm going to have to regroup. 3, that's a 10. 10 take away 5 is 5. 3 take away 2, so 15. So my final answer is going to be 15. 15 for my answer on that one. So next example, moving on. We have 30, or 25 take away 30 divided by 6 times 2 plus parentheses 3 squared, 3 to the second power plus 30. So the thing is with these problems, they look like way overwhelming, but they're not. Like sometimes you'll have some crazy long problem like this and you'll get an answer of 1 or 0. You just got to really go through Pemdas and stay focused on using the order of operations. So I would start in my parentheses first. So when I go within my parentheses, I don't have any other parentheses, brackets, or anything else in there. So then I go to E, which is exponents, and I do have an exponent with this 3 times 2, which 3 times 2, 3 squared, which it does mean 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 is going to be 9. I bring down everything I did not do. So I have not solved everything within my parentheses, so I bring that down. I bring my parentheses. I keep that on, and then I go through and I bring everything else down. 25. Take away 30 divided by 6. No, what am I doing? Times 2, and I'm writing very poorly, my apologies, plus parentheses 9 plus 3. So I do still have parentheses, so I have to continue working there. So, and I'm doing 9 plus 3, which 9 plus 3 is going to be 12. I then bring everything down. So I have 25. Take away 30 divided by, yes, I know it's tedious to keep writing the same thing over and over and over, but you guys, this is the best way. That way you don't get lost. No shortcuts. So I've solved everything in that expression, so I can now switch. I can drop off the parentheses. So now I've got 25 take away 30 divided by 6 times 2 plus 12, and this is where you could kind of get confused. So PEMDAS states parentheses, we've already done that. Exponents, we've already done that. Multiply, divide. But when you have multiplication and division in the same sentence, you have to work left to right. I notice that I have division and multiplication in the same sentence. So therefore, I have to work left to right, which my very first problem is going to be 30 divided by 6, which is going to be 5. So then I bring down everything else. So 25, take away 5 times, and I messed up again, times 2 plus 12. So now we have subtraction, multiplication, and addition. Pemdas states that multiplication comes before all that. So we are going to do 5 times 2 right here, which is 10, and I'm running out of space. So I'm going to do a shortcut. Unfortunately, it's bad teaching, so please forgive me. Don't do this. 25, take away 10, plus 12. So we have addition and subtraction in the same sentence. So the rule is you have to work left to right. So the very first one is you're going to have to do this 25 take away 10, which 25 take away 10, because addition and subtraction in the same sentence, you work left to right. That's the very first problem. So 25 take away 10 is going to be 15. And then I'm going to add my 12. 15 plus 12 is going to be 27 for my answer. So I kind of ran out of space, so I kind of took a shortcut, which I do not recommend you do. I just kind of tried to squeeze it in there real quick. Show all your work when you do this, because even though we're not working together in the class, that way if we were in class, I could as your teacher, I would be able to see, oh hey, you messed up right here. So show all of your work a bit easier, and hopefully speed some things up for this. So my apologies on that. I just think it would make things go a little bit easier, and also easier for me. So we have this number sentence here, and Pemdas tells us to start with our parentheses. So we would definitely start here with 4 times 5, which that's going to be 20. And we're just going to continually do like we've been doing and bring everything else down. Now I've not solved everything in this number sentence equation thing, so I've got to bring down my parentheses. And I still have 2 to the third plus 10 times 2. Take away that parentheses. I'm going to stay in that parentheses because I have not solved that expression all the way. That's just going to be 15. And I'm going to continually bring down the rest. So now I keep going. I now go to exponents because I've solved all my parentheses, which this means 2 times 2 times 2, which it's not 6. I continually see kids do that over all the years. You have to take 2 times 2 first, which is 4, and then multiply that again by 2, so that's going to be 8. So you have 8, and you bring down everything else. Take away 15. We then go to multiplication because we've already done parentheses and exponents. There is no division in this, but there is multiplication, so I go there, which is going to be 20. I bring everything else down. 8 plus 20, take away 15, and I hope you guys write a lot better on your paper than I do. I have addition and subtraction in the same sentence, so when this happens, you must work left to right. And yes, it so happens that addition comes in this case first. So I add that together and I get 28. And I have 28 take away 15. And I'm out of space there, but I can squeeze this in. 28 take away 15 is just going to be 13. So your final answer on this equation would have been 13. So like I was saying before, yeah, you have this big, gigantic, long sentence, but you only get an answer of 13. So don't be so intimidated by this. Okie doke. Next problem. We got two more. Last two. Here we go. I gotta adjust my color bar. We are going to let's switch colors this time. I'm gonna use blue. We have two parentheses here, so what I'm trying to do is trick you, and it doesn't matter which parentheses you do first. Um, it's just kind of whatever you want to do. So I'm going to start with this guy, and I'm going to do 10 divided by 2. Blue does not look so good, so I'm going to switch. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And I'm going to bring everything else down that I didn't do. But because I've solved everything in the parentheses, I can drop that off, and I just have 5. So I have parentheses 10 plus 4 squared in parentheses, and I got to bring down 10 times 2. If you've been following, and you're starting to pick it up, which you should go directly to your parentheses. But then the same rules apply. Like, do you have exponents in here? Which you do. You have 4 squared, which that just means 4 times 4, because we have two 4s. 4 times 4. Oh. I clearly don't know how to work a computer, so please forgive me. Which that's 16. So we have not solved everything within that parentheses, so you've got to keep that still within there and bring it down. So we still have 10 plus 16. And bring everything else down. 10 times 2. So now we got to finish out within that parentheses, which that is going to give us 26 because it's 10 plus 16. And I can bring down everything else, which now I have 10 times 2 plus 26, take away 5. So now I need to go through, I've done parentheses, exponents, now I have some multiplication and division. I do have that right there. So I go ahead and I do that, which is going to be 20, and I bring everything else down. So I got to bring down my 26, take away 5. So this is going to be, I put that together. Addition and subtraction are in the same sentence, but I work left to right, which I do have 20 plus 26, so that's going to be 46. And then I have 46, take away 5. And I ran out of room again, but I can squeeze it over here, which 46 take away 5 is just going to be 41. So I am done. I've now solved that problem. I hope this is getting easier and you're starting to kind of pick up kind of what you are doing within your work. So last one, I'm sure you know by now, we start in the parentheses. I'm going to go back to green, which just look better. So the same rules apply. Do I have exponents? Yes, I do. So I start here with 2 squared, which means 2 times 2, which is going to be 4. I then bring everything else down. I've not solved this whole expression, so I've got to keep, everything within the parentheses and on top of bringing everything else down. So I go back to my parentheses. Multiplication comes before addition based off Pemdas, order of operations. So we do 3 times 4, which is 12. And you bring everything else down. Now, yes, this would go a little bit faster in class when I'm not using a keyboard, the mouse pad. So bear with me. 100 take away 25 divided by 5. And I stay within that parentheses and I add that together. 14 plus 12 makes 26. And I bring everything down. And now we kind of go through. We've already done parentheses. We've already done exponents. Do we have multiplication division in this number sentence? And we do. There is no multiplication, so we do 25 divided by 5, which is 5. And bring everything down. 100 take away 5 plus 26. So now, this is where kids will get mixed up because we have addition and subtraction. Kids will think you do 5 plus 26 first. Incorrect. When you have addition and subtraction in the same sentence, you have to work left to right and whatever comes first. So if I do that, 100 take away 5 comes before 5 plus 26. So you've got to do 100 take away 5 first, which is 95. So, and pardon my terrible 5 there. So now we have 95 plus 26. I would not recommend doing that in your head. So step out, do a problem to the side. Uh, 6 plus 5 is 11. Carry my 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So we would get the final answer of 121. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you kind of sort through your mistakes if you made any or help clarify some learning. But if you follow through the order of operations, you will never miss this. Don't take shortcuts. Write out all of your thinking. And I hope you did well this week with that. I know this is fun for some kids. I know some kids really like these kinds of problems. I especially do because I'm a math nerd, but hope you did well. So may the force be with you, and I'll see you guys next time.